Hello, today I'll be sharing an overview of Taylor Swift's numerological profile, along with a Tzolkin Calendar analysis of her personality and life path. I'll be using a numerological system that has been tested on over 14,000 people. This approach is an excellent tool for enhancing one's self-awareness, promoting spiritual growth, uncovering the unique potential we're born with, and identifying one's purpose. It provides a detailed analysis of one's physical, emotional, and intellectual capacities, strengths and weaknesses, and more. The chronal vector diagnostics method offers insights into karmic challenges we face, as well as the tasks and lessons we're meant to engage with during each phase of life. This method has also been used to assess people for roles that carry significant responsibility, particularly in identifying those people who have karmic imbalances that could impact their decision-making or overall well-being. I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to my channel, liking this video, and leaving a comment. You can also connect with me on X and Telegram, or visit my website. I'm starting a presentation series that explores the lives of notable individuals, beginning with Taylor Swift. I've chosen her as the first subject not because I'm a fan, but because she appears to be on the cusp of a significant life cycle transition. This offers a unique opportunity to examine the details of this transformation through the lenses of chronal vector numerology and the Tzolkin Calendar. Given Swift's popularity, it's fascinating to analyze her inherent resources and explore how numerology and the Tzolkin Calendar can help explain her remarkable success, while also shedding light on the changes that may be on the horizon. For this analysis, I'll be using Swift's publicly available birth date, December 13, 1989. Her biography is carefully managed, and we only know what the Taylor Swift brand chooses to share. From these sources, we learn that she is currently at the peak of her career and has recently achieved billionaire status. With a career spanning over 2 decades, her personal life has long served as the inspiration for much of her music. Now, at nearly 35, she is poised for major transformation in both her image and status. I'll explore these upcoming changes using chronal vector numerology and the Tzolkin Calendar. Taylor Swift is a personality type 7. People of this type are often described as some of the most harmonious individuals, with high intellectual potential and physical beauty. Life for these people tends to be filled with harmony, beauty, and glamour. At their most developed, they approach the level of saints, often serving as stabilizing, harmonious influences in their families and communities, like guardian angels. These people are often strikingly attractive and have a natural aptitude for spirituality. In an undeveloped state, this personality type can become self-absorbed, egotistical, hedonistic, and narcissistic. They may struggle with a sense of disharmony in their daily lives, leading them to isolate themselves and seek escape through various forms of virtual reality or fantasy. In more extreme cases, if they fail to fulfill their purpose, they may fall into dependence on various substances or develop addictive behaviors such as gambling. Most people, of course, tend to fall somewhere in the middle of this spectrum. While we don't have all the details of Swift's personal life, there is no public indication that she has struggled with such issues. Here is a breakdown of Swift's karmic code. shown in the first line of numbers, and the tactic or the degree of threat shown in the second line. In other words, these are Swift's life tasks and the keys to their solution for every 12-year period of her life. Currently, Swift is nearing the end of a 12-year zero period, which grants her a certain freedom, both in terms of action and inaction. While this phase offers some benefits, such as freedom from karmic events, it can also bring challenges. People in a zero period often experience a sense of aimlessness or purposelessness, feeling that their lives lack structure or direction. This period's challenges should be solved by a corresponding tactic of a code 7, which is higher than average degree of threat. It means that this period of relative freedom from karmic tasks requires actions that address the issues and problems of a 7. The issues that may have arisen for Swift in the last 8 years are psychological and self-regulation problems, losing a connection with reality as a result of not finding harmony in everyday life, problems with the central nervous system, spiritual issues having to do with establishing a connection to the higher consciousness. Main solutions to these problems deal with spiritual matters, such as upholding the moral law, moving towards spirituality, charity, volunteering, helping people and animals, acquiring higher knowledge, including religious faith and esoteric knowledge. It looks like Swift has done well to remedy the difficulties of this life cycle by becoming a philanthropist and giving away millions of dollars for various causes. When she turns 37, she will move on to what may be the most important period of her life, a 9/7 period. Continuing with Swift's karmic code, let's review those she's gone through and the future ones. While she will transition to the period of 9/7 in 2 years, the codes she has already lived through continue to linger in the background, particularly the ones that repeat themselves. Specifically, she's inherited a problem of forming lasting relationships with the opposite sex. This issue for her is at the highest rate of negativity and cannot be solved without strictly following the moral law and possibly finding ways to remedy karmic aggravations she was born with. From 12 to 24, she's gone through a 6/4 period, which will repeat after she turns 60. The fact that she will be living through the same life scenario in her third stage of life is evidence of her not fulfilling her karmic tasks as intended. She will have to go through similar scenarios that will be thrown at her as more complex and challenging situations. Specifically, 6/4 in her case will demand a wise approach to all aspects of life, as well as the need to obtain knowledge and discernment and become a mentor and a teacher. The most obvious and straightforward way of satisfying the demands of a 6 will be through fulfilling the requirements of a 4, which are creating order and harmony in all areas of her life through hard work and integrity, developing the heart center, as well as controlling such traits as selfishness, cold-heartedness, and insensitivity to the interests, feelings, and needs of others. She might also deal with a situation of a so-called broken heart. As I mentioned before, in 2 years, Swift will be in a 9/7 period, which may pose major challenges for her. Such periods usually present challenges that place one's life to the highest degree of risk through unexpected life events. While Swift is not an ordinary person and may have access to esoteric support and knowledge that could carry her through these 12 years, it is possible that she could face difficulties An extra challenge for her is that in the next couple of years, she will have to pivot from a period of relative freedom from karmic events to the one where the so-called corridor of karmic events becomes extremely narrow. This is where many people get blindsided by unforeseen events. In other words, she is moving toward a period in her life when she is going to be under close scrutiny from the highest powers. Life events in this period can put one in front of a moral choice, so that her future well-being and the life of descendants, if any, will depend on this choice. During 9/7 life cycle, she will be dealing with situations that may prevent her from falling into a state of excessive pride. The main challenge is to avoid the attitude of "I know best." The effect of negative events in this period can be directly proportionate to the degree of one's pride. Since the degree of threat is rather high, not solving moral dilemmas may result in serious issues with mental health and central nervous system. Swift's situation may be complicated by the fact that she is one of the few people whose personality type and karmic code of negativity passed down to her from her ancestors are the same. Therefore, she will have several sevens affecting her throughout the upcoming 9/7 12-year period. In 2027 and 2034, she will also be affected by 9/7 energies, heightening the risks and exacerbating challenges. Chronal vector numerology provides a method to quantify personality parameters, including personality type, the capacity of energetic centers or chakras, and several other default qualities that are built in at birth, a point of entry into our reality. Swift's overall life energy potential or energetic capacity is 2450, which is an average value. This level of energetic potential allows one to accomplish one's goals at a modest pace, being mindful of replenishing one's energy and health reserves through reasonable routines. It is an indicator of a life force that one has access to throughout one's life to accomplish goals. The higher the energetic potential, the bigger the accomplishments and personality. In chronal vector numerology, the physical contour or two lower energetic centers that correspond to the root chakra, Muladhara, and the sex chakra, Swadhisthana, form a person's temperament. Swift's root center is at 50%, which is a norm, and her sex center is much higher than average. She has a robust physical outline. Her temperament is defined as sanguine choleric and is characterized by shifting moods. The combination of a sensitive personality type and a volatile temperament creates a need for her to be careful about regulating her nervous system and work on the stability of her mental state. Swift's emotional outline turns out to be her weakest contour. Both her third energetic center, Manipura, and her heart center, Anahata, are weak and form a cold contour. People with cold emotional outline come across as aloof and lacking in expression of feelings. It is a particular challenge for people with these components to relate to other people's feelings and emotions. While they do have feelings, they run on the inside of their emotional body and can be hard to detect. For people with a cold emotional outline, one of the main tasks in life is to build up their compassion and their ability to relate to those around them and put themselves in other people's shoes. It also came as a surprise to see how low Swift's third energetic center or solar plexus center or Manipura is. It is at the lowest possible value. People with solar plexus center this low usually find it hard to finish tasks and projects, and they also tend to yield decision-making to others with higher capacity in this center. They're easily influenced and find it hard to maintain their own point of view or opinions. It is also a challenge for them to find balance between exerting their will and maintaining their boundaries and standing up to others violating their boundaries. Or they can also fall into extreme obstinacy. Standing up to others' manipulation and strengthening one's will through awareness of one's weak points is a challenge for someone with a cold emotional contour. Of course, there are exercises and practices that can be undertaken to remedy deficiency of willpower and heart energy. And the first and foremost challenge here is to become aware of one's issues. Again, these values are values given to us at birth, and our responsibility is to develop these values and grow through awareness and specific practices that help us increase harmony in our lives and the lives of others. Such low values of the solar plexus and heart centers place Swift at a higher risk for problems with her digestive system and heart issues. Moving on to Swift's intellectual outline, I see that her fifth center, or throat center, or Vishuddha, is at a lower than average value. She's done well to develop her fifth center through music and poetry. Her sixth center, or Ajna, is high. She's a very logical person with a well-developed left brain intellect. Her right brain intellect is something she needs to constantly work on, and it appears that she's succeeded in doing that through creative expression. People with low values in the fifth center tend to have difficulties with expressing their thoughts and often sound undiplomatic, sarcastic, tactless, or even rude. Coupled with Swift's volatile temperament and cold emotional contour, it is safe to say that communication with other people, especially relationships with the opposite sex, is always a challenge and a work in progress. This issue can be remedied through developing the third, fourth, and fifth energetic centers that work as energy bottlenecks in Swift's case. Chronal vector diagnostics method also provides a way to quantify one's verbal and nonverbal intellect. Swift's values are at an average level of development, with nonverbal intellect being significantly higher than the verbal one. The generational negative issue that Taylor Swift inherited from her ancestors deals with spiritual development. Her life purpose is to strive for harmony in all aspects of life. The absence of harmony in everyday life pushes people with her personality type to escape reality. Losing connection with reality leads to difficulties interacting with the outside world and a desire to escape into virtual reality. Consequently, mental health issues and problems with the nervous system become common. Another problem for this personality type is difficulty forming and keeping friendships and preference for being alone. Swift's yin, or introvert, factor is significantly higher than the yang, extrovert, factor. We all have both polarities in us, and everyone has different proportion of yin and yang. This makes her feminine qualities more prominent than her masculine nature. Her want-can factors are approximately at the same level. This indicates that she can accomplish most of the goals and wants that she sets her mind to, but her levels are average, which means that goals and wishes are modest and her ability to reach them is average. Swift's I and we factors are also almost even. This means that she doesn't give preference to her own interests over the interests of other people, and also doesn't fall into the extreme of self-denial. Now let's dig even deeper, examining Taylor Swift's Tzolkin Calendar past and upcoming life scenarios. Here I list her Tzolkin Calendar signs that prescribe Swift's life story. Her personal kin, representing her date of birth, is 71. A kin signifies one of the 260 life scenarios within the Tzolkin Calendar, shaped by the interplay of daily, weekly, and 13-day, 20-day, 52-day energies. She was born on the day of the Blue Master, a sign associated with an ease in achieving success. Individuals under this sign often excel as talented actors and directors, possessing skills that enable them to manage people, events, and situations to achieve their desired outcomes. This sign illuminates Swift's artistic, musical, and creative talents, as well as her passion for performing on stage. The week of her birth begins with the Skull sign, which introduces a challenging influence that serves as a constant and not always benign background presence from other dimensions. Her tone is influenced by the Lizard totem, indicating that she tends to be aloof, has quick reactions, and adapts well to changes and losses in her life. The Owl totem encourages a quiet, private existence, suggesting a preference for avoiding attention and seeking long-term relationships. Her karma is influenced by the sign of the White Dog. This mystical sign suggests that one will experience sudden highs and lows in life. One moment you may be at the peak of success, and the next you could find yourself overwhelmed by the wheel of fortune's unpredictable nature. The White Dog encourages constant movement and communication, urging one to develop skills, pursue knowledge, and cultivate a supportive circle of friends or like-minded community. However, there is a contradiction with the sign of the Master. The Blue Master tends to oppose the collective spirit of the White Dog, seeking instead to direct and dominate. Swift's first karmic period went on for 2 terms and ended in 2006 when she turned 21. Looking at her life cycle that began when she turned 21, I see that this scenario in the Tzolkin calendar coincides with her breakthrough success at 21. Her signs for this period are the Overlord and Scorpio. This is the phase of her life when she became a household name. In 2016, she entered a new cycle that continues to this day and will end in 2026. The key themes of this period include significant life changes that she may experience before 2027, as well as intense scrutiny from the media and the public. The influence of the Bat sign seems to contribute to her ongoing single status, alongside the necessity to manage her public persona. Meanwhile, the Reed sign empowers her to relentlessly pursue her goals. Her current life cycle is winding down. Although it still retains a significant amount of energy, the tone 9, positioned at the top right corner of the Tzolkin energy flow, marks the beginning of this decline. This indicates that while the energy in her life remains relatively high, it is starting to wane. The red water sign symbolizes feelings of dissatisfaction with oneself and one's circumstances, along with potential health issues. It also signifies loneliness, isolation, and dependence on others, as well as the emergence of an aggressive presence in her life. These factors suggest irreversible changes are on the horizon. In a few weeks, Taylor Swift will turn 35 and her life cycle will transition to a new period. This transitions her from the Jaguar totem to the Snake sign, jumping from an energy level of 9 directly to 11, bypassing tone 10. It promises to be a challenging year filled with unpredictable events and potential losses and setbacks. It would be wise for her to lay low, exercise caution, and utilize every spiritual tool at her disposal to navigate this year. In 2025, when she is 36, Swift's next to last yearly cycle in Tzolkin calendar will be marked by the Overlord sign and influenced by the Reed water sign of the week. Her personal tone is 12. The rabbit will signal the final downward turn in this cycle. She will also be affected by the 20-day month of the Snake totem, which brings the most unpleasant and destructive influences. This combination of energies suggests potential health problems as well as limiting circumstances. This year represents one of the final 2 years in a 12-year life cycle, concluding on a tense note. In 2026, she will be at the end of her 12-year cycle, marked by the turtle totem. This year's outcomes may not significantly depend on Swift's efforts despite her determination. She will be under the influence of the red dragon and red reed signs, both of which are red day signs that generate emotional upheaval in one's life. The owl totem's 20-day months suggest that she is meant to spend this year quietly and privately. Her kin 65, positioned in the White Palace of Death, places her at a heightened risk. To neutralize or minimize painful developments, she might choose to use esoteric, religious, and other coping strategies. This brings me to the end of my presentation. The key conclusion is that various esoteric prognostic methods corroborate each other and suggest that Swift will be undergoing a change in her life that will require her to mobilize all available spiritual, emotional, and mental resources to withstand upcoming challenges. Again, to overcome these challenges, she may adopt various measures, including actions that promote peace of mind, support her mental state, and lead to her overall spiritual growth. She will also need to pay close attention to her health. Please let me know if you would like me to look into life scenarios of other famous or notable people. And if you enjoyed this video, please comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.